Welcome, everybody, to a new episode of the Pondcast. Today's episode, Pokemon Concept, Capybara. I'm your host, Draco, and joining me today is co-host Guren.
Alola.
Chase.
What's cracking?
And returning, Jay.
Yo.
As well as Last Champion Spirit.
Back as always.
Let's get into it. So, I have been on this South America Pokemon kick for a little bit now. We did an episode a while back about the Mexican Jumping Bean. You know, when we got the reveal of the DLC for Scarlet and Violet, the name of Terrapagos came out, which is a merging of the name Terrapin, which is another name for a turtle, and Galapagos, which are islands in South America. And it got me thinking, what other Pokemon would be awesome to see in a new installment of the game, should the game take place in South America? And I will present to you the Capybara. Now, for those of you who don't know what a capybara is, a capybara is a rodent in South America that is a fairly large rodent, but kind of looks like a ginormous hamster. And the thing about these is that they are apparently so chill that they can sit in a community of other animals and they won't get attacked or anything. They just kind of chill.
Yeah, it's like a quadrupedal drowsy on all fours. It just doesn't have the taper nose. It's got like the guinea pig face.
So, I mean, these things are big.
Yeah,
they're freaking massive.
They're like medium dog sized, I think.
So I got to thinking, what would it be like if it was a Pokemon? What Pokemon would it be? And if we were going to do South America, I just put two and two together and decided to do a capybara that knows capoeira. The thing is that there's another Pokemon that we have that does the capoeira stances, which is Hitmontop. So what if this capybara could be either a regional fake or just convergent evolution, but for a South America region? And so, utilizing some AI art, I put together this, and I call it Capybara.
What? Okay, so it looks really cool, but why does it have human feet?
That is way more humanoid than I was expecting.
So just kind of ignore the fact that it's got humanoid feet, but it's just trying to get the concept out there. And so this would be, I would call this one Capybara, and its abilities would be Cute Charm, because capybaras are cute as hell. I also gave it Klutz, because it's going to lead into something in the second stage evolution. And then Hustle, because when you're new into martial arts, some are a little too eager. You try harder to be good at something and end up, hurting yourself in some way or form. So, better attack, but lower the accuracy on it. And of course, some of the moves that I would give it is Bulk Up, Low Sweep, Fake Out, maybe Arm Thrust as well. Now, I did talk to a friend of mine, which shout out to my man Chris, who turns out not only was a student of capoeira, but was also an instructor. So he gave me a lot of feedback. And the thing about capoeira is they would wear the white pants. The green cord would symbolize a novice, someone who's starting out. And the color of the cord is where it would denote your rank. Similar to the martial arts belt, but it's specifically a cord, not a belt. He told me that, once they got to a certain level, they would call him instructor. So like instructor. So the second stage would be called Instrubara, so kind of the instructor capybara. Well, I would give it abilities like Own Tempo, because again, it's using music, it's using a kind of a dance. It has to keep a tempo for the fighting maneuvers. The second stage would also be holding on to, it would basically be like this, look like a much older capybara, have some white whiskers where like it would be like a beard and a mustache, that much more aged master type of look to it. And it would also be holding what's referred to as a berimbau, and it's an instrument that they would use in capoeira. So it looks kind of like this. The moves that I would add to it as far as the ability goes, so you've got the Own Tempo, because of course it's got to mix in the music and the dance. It's kind of the whole thing. The fact that a capybara can Cute Charm would turn into Intimidate, because the fact that a capybara can just chill with a crocodile and the crocodile not try to eat it is pretty impressive to me. And honestly, there's got to be some intimidation factor in my eyes for that. And of course, because it is a fighter, I wanted to give it tough claws because, of course, capybaras do have paws, and tough claws seem like a really good ability to give this as well. And some of the moves that I would add to it would be things like Swords Dance and Teeter Dance, as well as the move Instruct, because it is an instructor. So, what better move than to give an instructor than Instruct? And so that's kind of where my mind was going with this, and just kind of like a new type of fighter, but again, that's more Central America centric. If Pokemon was ever to go down that path, and again, as always, hey Pokemon, if you happen to be catching this video, you have my permission to use the idea. All I ask is just say, hey, thanks Pondcast for this idea. I'm not even asking for money. Maybe just a copy for the game. That's all.
Yeah, they're good.
They'll just make something very close to it and sell it.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine.
Ooh, also this thing, I know it's a physical attacker, but it needs to have calm mind.
Actually, so here's the thing. You're right in my headspace with that, because I was thinking about, similar to Instruct, giving it a signature move that allows it to give a boost to its student. Similar to Calm Mind. Maybe it raises special defense, but it raises attack instead of special attack.
Oh, I like that.
That's dope, yeah.
Definitely be like a good BGC 2v2 mod. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm very much looking at this as an upgrade to Oranguru.
Yeah. Actually, that was something that passed my mind.
I really think a good silhouette for this would be more like I don't know if you can visualize it from this, or if you're familiar, is the leg sweep that they do, where they do the handstand and they kind of sweep both the wide spread legs in order to do a double sweep. And I think that would really be beneficial for the early stage of it being down like that, still in a capoeira like attacking pose, but maybe it was in the midst of it and it fell. It couldn't hold itself up anymore. And I think that'd be a horrible position for a capybara.
I thought it was really cool. At least the concept of the student giving its like an ability or a move where its student gets the like an up and in attack. I thought that was a really cool idea. I do like that mix of. I feel like there's this selection of Pokemon that have different, like, of course they're fighters, but they don't really. How do I say this? There's so many branches to that of different fighting styles and things that they could really represent within Pokemon that they haven't done yet. They haven't explored yet.
See, can I just say, Draco, it's not like you need to give the Pokemon Company permission to use your ideas, because we all know you're the resident Pokemon employee here.
You're not.
That's his cover, though. If he gives them permission, then that's like a confirm that we're getting, right?
If we see it in the next game, we'll know that he actually does work for them.
No, it's just his cousin that works at Pokemon, right, Draco?
I am not affiliated with the Pokemon Company or Nintendo in any way, shape, or form.
But yeah, jokes aside, I actually really do like the idea. Merging something that's sort of seen as very lethargic and sort of very chill with a fighting style that's very, probably says high energy and very intricate. So yeah, I really dig the concept. I really like capybaras, like giant rats, but, cute giant rats.
Yeah, we still need a capybara Pokemon, honestly. I'm surprised it's, hasn't been done yet either.
Yeah, I've only been harping about that for about a year now.
I thought we've spoken about capybaras before.
We totally have. But yeah, I mean, that was just something that's been running through my head, and I actually decided to flesh out the idea. I used an AI artist, which, yes, I know as an artist myself, I know a lot of people would just kind of boo and hiss at me. But when you are on limited funds, your options are really limited.
If you want to see commissioned art, join us. Follow the rise up of the Pondcast. I love the Master Splinter sort of vibes I'm getting from the final evolution.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going with that whole Master Splinter thing.
Minus the arthritis.
Minus the arthritis.
You know the thing that you posted, right? The picture of like the equipment that they use. What is that, like strictly just for like kicking kind of thing, or like is it?
As part of the music.
Oh,
I was kind of curious about that.
Yeah, because I thought it was like a fishing pole at first, right? And then I was thinking like, oh my god, what if it's like it can do like a Trico thing. You know, like how Trico in the anime like always gets like a wooden stick to like put in its mouth and stuff. I was like, what if this Capybara gets like this thing, and like when it like chills out, it just goes near like a body of water and just like pretends like it's fishing or something.
So
To jump in there, I thought it was a really cool idea for the early stages to kind of pre-hint at this equipment, is have the young one with like a toothpick or something in its mouth.
So I just had a thought. So, like how you said, capybaras are very chill and they can just sort of sit amongst communities of other animals. What if you gave it sort of as like a hidden ability or second ability or whatever? Dancer.
Oh,
So
That
it could hang, maybe it's hanging around the different Oricorio, and that's one way it can blend in is with that ability, and then obviously you see it prancing and dancing around with the Oricorio.
that's not a bad idea. I like that. I like that thought. It would actually mix well with the dancer ability from Oricorio, with the fact that the capoeirist would dance as well. So yeah, that actually works really well in good conjunction.
oh yeah. Oh my god, and in competitive too, it's like, oh, you want a swords dance? Well, don't. you want a dragon dance? Don't. Oh well, maybe unless you still outspeed it and damage it. But I mean, like, you know, dude,
That's
that's actually pretty sick. Yeah.
Reminds me of Opportunist Espathra.
Oh god.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah. Opportunist user. Yeah, but I think opportunist is only to the opponent and not in general, which is the only downside to opportunist. However,
Like a
Co-star.
co-star type thing.
yeah. See, that's where we were going. Co-star. Co-star.
Oh,
is
and
great.
that also fits into the dancing because you dance with your co-stars.
Co-star.
Ah.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
That's a good reference. That's a really good reference.
Okay, this instrument thing is very intriguing, and it is just so, it's like a drum string instrument slide whistle all in one.
Yeah, a buddy of mine actually built one for himself, a different friend of mine, and he used to play it all the time.
It makes a lot of sense for the instructor to have, as they're the one that'd be sitting there kind of playing it while they're coaching the student, as opposed to the earlier stages having this in any way because they're busy dancing.
Exactly.
Maybe the final stage doesn't have the dancer ability, and that's only the middle stage, which would encourage you to do things like throw the Evio light on it for competitive play.
Well, this was only just like a 2-stager, but yeah, I think
Okay.
that wouldn't be a bad idea either. You wouldn't be able to use Klutz, obviously, but
Or maybe
again,
make it a 3-stage, like a more of a Machamp line for your region.
possibly. I mean, I was kind of sticking with the whole Tyrogue and then one of the 3 evolutions of Tyrogue, but
Okay.
you know, moving it into a which was also suggested by somebody else too, which is funny that you brought it up. So maybe I should actually consider making it a 3-stage, which again, yeah, that's what the concept ideas are for. Literally just fleshing out a thought, and it makes a lot of sense too. It does. Now that I'm hearing it, it does make sense that if it was a 3-stage, you'd have the novice, then you'd have the intermediary, and then the intermediary, and then you've got your master. So yeah, no, I think you might be onto something about making it a 3-stager. So yeah.
Actually, let me pitch this too. You can go even further with the whole Machamp thing, in the idea that maybe you have the first 2 stages, but then the final stage is a trade evolution with another Pokemon that is more scholarly, that its final evolution gets more physical.
We haven't seen something like that in a while. I mean, the only one that ever did it was Escargot. What is it?
Excelgor.
Excelgor. Thank you.
Actually, I would argue that. I would argue that it was present in Gen 1 because the theory is that Golem gets its more reptile features from the Machamp, or from the Machoke line, where Machamp gets its 4 arms from Golem, or from, rather, Graveler.
Oh, interesting.
That I have not heard.
That's interesting. That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
But they just didn't have the systems in place back then to do a specific trigger, so they did a more broad one.
No, well, I think it's a pretty good thing. I have no complaints. I still want a Capybara Pokemon.
Yeah, I just think it's a really cool concept. I mean, my brain is going a million miles per hour to try and think of like connections and moves and things like that. But other than that, again, another really solid idea.
I absolutely love it. I like the idea of it going from the physical fighter into a more scholarly teacher role.
Evolution and progression.
I really think that this is a really cool path. Idea for a path for Pokemon to take. I think they should, definitely revisit that avenue and do some fun stuff with it.
And with that brings our episode to a close. I want to thank our guests, Jay from the passenger seat and The Last Champion Spirit, for joining us today. Their links will be down below. Also, be sure to share, like, and subscribe. And as always, have a wonderful day. Bye.
Bye.
Cheers.
Alola.
Bye-bye.